Warning! The following video contains gore, sexual violence, minor spoilers, and atrociously bad acting. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, PushingUpRoses here, and welcome to Phantasmagoria. Phantasmagoria is a point-and-click adventure game featuring full-motion video developed by Sierra and released in 1995. It's known for its adult content, including sexual violence and gore, and has a pretty big cult following at this point. Personally, the game isn't on my list of favorites. It has a lot of bad points, and some good points, both of which I'll touch on, but mostly I'm just gonna make fun of it because this game is perfect riffing fodder.
You know what I could use? Some drain cleaner.
You're greeted with an amazingly cheesy introduction with such horrific imagery as snakes with human heads, various torture devices, and friggin' curtains. Oh my god, freaky. By the way, the intro song for this game is epic. It was written by Mark Siebert. Yes, the same person who wrote this. Also wrote this. Adrienne Delaney, a somewhat well-known novelist, wakes up from a nightmare and is immediately comforted by her husband Dawn.
I'll always be here to protect you.
Oh God. Oh God, stop! Stop! Ugh, this is worse than the upcoming Gore. They just moved into this huge mansion previously owned by a notorious illusionist named Zoltan Karnovash. Karno's wives are rumored to have been murdered by him, whom at the time was allegedly possessed by an evil demon. Evil demon is kind of redundant. I guess you're inherently evil if you're a demon. While exploring her new home, Adrienne finds a hidden chapel containing a mysterious-looking box, in which she haphazardly opens and releases the previously mentioned evil demon. Or just demon, rather. Ow, it farted right in my eye. The demon heads right for Dawn, possessing him and also haunting the rest of the estate. You play as Adrienne, whom, in my opinion, is the worst, most poorly written female protagonist ever. Seriously, it is all Adrienne's fault that this evil was released. And if you don't think she's the worst protagonist after watching this, I think we can all at least agree that she is the worst dressed. Oh yes, here's Adrienne being sexy in her tight orange sweater tucked into her black kinky mom jeans. I love pants with an elastic waistband. Ooh, ah. As a character, Adrienne is stiff, boring, poorly acted.
Yay, it worked.
Yay. And for a writer, is incredibly short-sighted. Despite the mansion becoming increasingly scary with more instances of haunting and Dawn's obvious change in character, she insists that she doesn't believe in ghosts.
You know, people act very strange when I tell them I bought the Karnovash estate.
It's no wonder. It's rumored to be haunted. Do you believe in ghosts?
Of course not.
Yeah, okay, so I suppose you just ignored this weird apparition in the nursery, the blatant warnings on your laptop, and the weird visions of Karno's murders? Dude, Karno even comes to you during a seance in the form of phlegmy green boogers to try to warn you. That is some serious shit. Not to mention the fact that Dawn has started acting like a complete dick.
Don't be coy with me. I asked you several times to go buy me drain cleaner. Now, did you do it?
Okay, calm your ass down, second-rate Val Kilmer. We'll get those pipes unclogged. By the way, the warnings that Adrienne comes across during the game are being left by the ghosts of Karno's previous wives, all murdered by him in really gruesome ways. I guess they want to help Adrienne so she can start planning her escape and getting the hell out of there, but Adrienne doesn't believe in ghosts.
Of course not.
Meanwhile, Dawn has gone completely crackers due to his demonic possession. This game is supposed to be dark and scary and really tap into a different tone than the previous Roberta Williams games, but I don't understand how I can possibly be scared of this guy. He is practically devouring the scenery. We also have Harriet, a homeless person dressed like a garden gnome who's been camping out in the estate's barn with Cyrus, her brawny, but not brainy son.
Name's Harriet. Harriet Hockaday. Below's my son Cyrus.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
She's a pretty stark contrast to anything dark and brooding, and sometimes unintentionally serves as the game's comic relief.
Oh, come on, you gotta help Mom!
Help! Help me!
Oh, God.
Gotta love those community theater volunteers. One thing that makes up for this lack of acting skill is the inclusion of Douglas Seal, a classically trained British actor whom you may recognize as the Sultan from Aladdin. He plays a character named Malcolm Wormshadow. Yes, Wormshadow, and he lived at the Carno estate when he was young, so he's good for extra insight and story.
The evil. It's back.
Jafar? The gameplay can be accurately described as a sitting simulator. Man, you can sit on so many things, and you can poke the fireplace for a few minutes and just look at this riveting action sequence where Adrian takes 500 years to knock out a panel. Yes, hello, Red Baron Pizza. I'd like to place an order for a deep dish. 45-minute wait? Let me check something real quick. Yeah, I got time. The puzzle design is admittedly better than the other Roberta Williams games with their moon logic and unwinnable situations. As far as I know, you can't get yourself in an unwinnable, and there's always a way to find what you need to complete the game. But the inventory puzzles themselves are kinda simple, to a fault. Or they're just stupid. For example, did you know that you can dismantle a brick wall entirely with just a letter opener? Yep, it's true. There's also a lot of unnecessarily long action sequences that don't do anything at all, and they're always followed by silence since Adrian doesn't talk that much. It's all very quiet. Let us now discuss the more controversial topics surrounding this game, because I know that's why you're all here. It's a very well-known fact that this game has gore and sexual violence, and it garnered a lot of press back in the day. The gore is cheesy, and not very well executed. It is a little nausea-inducing, I suppose, but some of these scenes are really forced, and I feel the same way about the rape scene, which kinda came out of nowhere. Don, while possessed by Carno, gets extremely violent while engaging in sexual intercourse, despite there being 0 accounts of sexual assault in Carno's history. It's really supposed to be more hard-hitting and evoke some kind of emotion. I mean, even Adrian, who is usually flat as a board throughout the entire game, is crying and expressing trauma, but I can still tell it was shoehorned in just for the sake of being shocking. Otherwise, it adds basically nothing to the story. Consider 1995. Sierra was about to slowly start fading out, and I think Roberta and the company felt like they had to do something to get people talking. Doom and Mortal Kombat had found success with their adult content, and Roberta even mentions those games in an interview. So I'm wondering if Sierra felt the need to catch up per se, to stay relevant in a rapidly changing market, and what better way to get people talking than to shock them with cheap exploits. Don't get me wrong here, there are games that have really executed darker subject matter without being lazy or comical, like Night Trap. Just playing. A good example is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which features a scene that was so evocative, it literally made the hair on the back of my neck rise. I just can't take this seriously, and the bad acting only makes it worse. What is this face even? Is he constipated? Some would argue that the nature of the game is very akin to B-rated horror movies, and there's definitely some merit to that. Thing is, this game seems like it's having a major identity crisis. It's a little B-movie, it's a little thriller, and it's a little unintentionally comedic. Maybe the darker elements would have shown through better if this game didn't constantly teeter on corny. The controversy and adult content worked in Sierra's favor. It was one of the best-selling games of 1995, and up to that point, it was Sierra's best-selling game. So they knew what they were doing, but hear you me? People did not buy this game because it was good. People bought it because side boob. People knew it would have some shock value, and thus sales. But not everything is bad or corny or cheesy. There's some legitimately creepy moments in this game, and you get an eerie feeling while exploring the mansion. The music adds to this, and I actually think the ending of this game is extremely good. Shit really hits the fan at the end while you're trying to escape from possessed Val Kilmer, and suddenly there's a lot of action and suspense, and I was really on the edge of my seat trying to figure it all out. Even the special effects for the death scenes at the end of the game, created by the Character Shop, were pretty impressive, much more so than the previous murder scenes. The live action, coordinated with animated sequences, and the compositing it took to match the backgrounds with the actors were huge amounts of work. The whole game was acted in front of a blue screen, and the entire design was incredibly complex, and it truly was a technical challenge for Williams. It was budgeted to cost around $800,000, but ended up costing about $4.5 million. It grossed around $12 million in sales. So yeah, I can see why Roberta claims this is the project she is most proud of. I don't agree, not even a little bit. I do not think this is her best game, but I think it is the game she put the most amount of work into. So when I think about it that way, I can understand her sentiments. Sometimes the tech in this game really looks good, and I appreciate it, and I can see all the hard work that went into it. And sometimes I can see the artifacting around the characters' bodies from the blue screen blatantly breaking the suspension of disbelief. Uniquely designed work doesn't guarantee that it will be good or even be liked. Just look at James Cameron's Avatar. Technically and visually sound, but overall, people found it uninspired. In conclusion, I don't hate this game. I actually always have fun revisiting it, even though I can't take it seriously the way I think it was meant to be. At the very least, it's insanely fun to riff on, and like I said, I genuinely enjoyed the last chapter when things got a little bit more frantic. When this title comes up within my group of adventure game buddies, we always joke and snark about it. It definitely has its place in PC gaming, and there's a lot of discussion to have come out of this release, and now that it's on GOG.com, it's much easier to run and play on modern systems, so give it a shot, especially if you like blood that resembles ketchup and really awkwardly performed conversations.
Come on, Don. Here's the drain cleaner you requested. Jeez.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video on Phantasmagoria! Hope you enjoyed the snark, and if you want to give this game a shot, it is on GOG.com, as I said earlier. If you want to talk about the nature of blood resembling crusty ketchup with me, I have some social networks worth following, or if you want extra perks, I also have a Patreon campaign, and if you just want to close this tab and leave forever, that's also an option, but I would be very sad if you did that. And you wouldn't want to make me sad. Anyway, thanks again, and see you in the next one. This is not deep dish.